Out of every biome in Pokemon, snow biomes have always interested me the most. This could be because this goated Pokemon is found here, or because they are more rare and sometimes really try to cultivate its own theme. There's usually only 1 to 2 snow areas in each game, which is way less than your average green route that we get throughout the region. These snowy areas over the course of Pokemon's history have truly evolved, not just graphically, but thematically. They symbolize challenge, myth, mystery, and even climax. Some have way more in-depth lore than at first glance. I'm Red, I'm a new Pokemon channel, and I post Pokemon videos like this one, so make sure to subscribe if you want more content. Now let's finally take a look at the evolution of Pokemon's snow biomes. In the early stages of Pokemon's snow areas, they were somewhat underdeveloped and underutilized, which makes sense as they were the first games ever. There were no towns or routes dedicated to the snow themes like we see in later games. The early stages of snow seem more utilized as a trial more than anything else. The 3 ice spots in the early gens are Seaform Islands from Kanto and the Ice Path from Johto. Hoenn does have Shoal Cave, which has 1 ice room, so we're gonna push that aside for now. These 2 places, however, share a lot in common for what they represent. They are both cave areas, when especially in the early gens, they were made out to be a very creepy place to explore. The music reinforces this as both have an eerie undertone to them. The cold, harsh conditions of the cave are there to symbolize trial for the player. Not only the coldness of the snow, but the puzzles throughout these caves. Seaform Island has the boulder puzzles, whereas Ice Path has both the boulder and the sliding ice puzzles. These puzzles are here to represent a rite of passage to the player, making sure you are prepared to take on Claire, the 8th gym leader, and Blaine, the 7th gym leader. Seaform Island also has the rite of passage for the player to catch Articuno. At this point in time, snow is here to test the player. Showcased through the harsh conditions and the puzzles, this theme is being represented. However, there is still a lot to uncover beneath the snow. Gens 4 and 5 found new ways to use snow that doesn't require you to do a puzzle. They represent snow in multiple ways we have not seen before. So to start, areas such as Snow Point City create a sense of calmness and nostalgic feeling behind the snow. The light snow mixed with the town being secluded from the outside world adds to this theme of purity. Snow Point's music really embodies this, as it's slow, melancholic, and very calming. Rather than being a challenge, Snow Point is now a reward. It's a place to stay where you are isolated from the rest of the world. The city doesn't offer too much, but that's the point. It's supposed to be quiet and small, as now snow is being represented as something to cherish and a beautiful sight to see. The only thing not calming about this city is the Turbo Finesser Mindy, who trades us a Haunter with an Everstone on it. Whoever added that must have found out their wife was cheating on them, because there's no way they added that to the game. Anyways, the preservance of Snow Point is represented as a beautiful thing. This leads us to Snow Point Temple, which shares a lot in common with the city. Snow Point Temple is not only isolated from the outside world, but excluded the trainers who are worthy, as we can only enter after we get into Elite Four. No one is in the temple, so this isolation is translated to calmness and sacredness. As for one, we get the Eterna Forest soundtrack, and if you watched any of my other videos, you know I love this soundtrack, but also the legendary Pokemon Regigigas rests here, again building on the sacredness of the temple. Like in the early stages of the snow, there is ice puzzles, but here it is built up so the ice puzzle holds more weight, as it being isolated mixed with it being a temple and no one else can get in, as well as Regigigas resting here, which in my opinion is more of a sacred legendary than Articuno. Instead of getting hard stuck in the ice path as a 9-year-old and getting mad, a 9-year-old me at Snow Point Temple would forget to get mad and be too focused on the sacredness instead, which again is utilized through the ice. The ice acts like a barrier between Regigigas and the outside world, freezing it in real time. The sacredness really ties into Gen 4's overarching theme of mythology and legend, which then makes you ask even more questions, such as why is this temple built here, who built this place, and most of all, why is Regigigas here? These 2 spots are obviously very similar in theme, but Route 216, the area just before Snow Point, resembles something a little different. In the gens prior, snow was a trial or puzzle. It was to see if you were ready or worthy for the gym or legendary encounter. Route 216 flips that, as snow is an environmental endurance, not a puzzle. It's not about are you skilled enough, it's about slowing down, pacing yourself, and appreciating the journey. The theme of Route 216 is soft and almost happy-like, rather than creepy intense. It isn't a trial in traditional sense. Instead, it opens self-reflection. Mechanically, it is long and treacherous. You can't run, and sometimes you even get stuck in the snow. This, mixed with the huge snowstorm making it a bit harder to see, displays itself as a trial of reflection, as well as it's a lesson to the player that the journey itself is the reward. Route 216's theme is there to display that you're supposed to be feeling happy while enjoying the harsh conditions of the route. This is reinforced as this is one of Sinnoh's themes we see time and time again. We see this in Barry's character arc, as at first this dude always seems like he's crashing out, and low-key in debt as he's always trying to find us. He is always perma-running and in a rush everywhere he goes. By the end of the game, he realizes this is what was holding him back and takes his time, which allows him to get stronger. We know this because Barry, for one, doesn't do his perma-run animation at Lake Acuity. This is because at Lake Acuity, he decides to take his time and live in the moment. But also, we beat Volkner, the last gym leader, before him, when in comparison to every other gym leader, he beats them first. Sinnoh's Pokemon League also reinforces this, as most league themes are trying to get you hyped to face the league. Sinnoh's, however, is a little bit different. It's slow and nostalgic. To me, it feels more like it's telling us to sit here for a while, acknowledge what we've gone through, and appreciate both the hardships and the fortunate times of the journey, which, like I stated prior, is what Route 216 Sinnoh is trying to teach us. These towns and routes are not the only places Sinnoh is used. Mount Coronet, Sinnoh's center point, uses Sinnoh to not only enhance its sacredness, but to also build hype around the final event. Mount Coronet is obviously supposed to display a mysterious kind of vibe, from Sinnoh's core themes to the music and of course the snow. The snowstorm here is harsh and it reduces vision, symbolically hiding Sinnoh's secrets, but also creating a sense of curiosity for what is at the peak of the mountain. As you ascend, some may realize the snowstorm gets more and more clear. As you get closer and closer to the summit, you get closer to revealing Sinnoh's truth. Not only that, but when you ascend, it symbolizes how big the final moment is. Climbing to the absolute top, displaying this moment is greater than any other in the game thus far. For the most part, that wraps up Gen 4, but some other honorable mentions would be Mount Silver. The snow like Mount Coronet builds climax, but also builds a sense of epicness around the final fight versus Red. I mean, if we're being honest, a snowy mountain has to be the coolest place to have a boss fight. Another one would be all the snow areas in Gen 5. They changed it to seasons, so there isn't one dedicated place for snow, but instead of snow representing a theme, snow is now a lot more interactable. At Icarus City in Twist Mound, the map changes, allowing new areas to be explored. After going through all the ways snow has been represented in these gens, we can see it truly expanded. Even with this expansion, we have yet to see how aesthetic snow can truly be. Gen 6 and 7 Sinnoh does have multiple themes it is trying to represent, but for the most part, it all comes back to Sinnoh being portrayed as aesthetic. Mamoswine Road is a perfect example of what I'm trying to say. This area's theme can be looked at through many lenses. For one, it can be seen as a trial, as riding Mamoswine is slow and pacey, but honestly, I don't see that as its true theme. The slow pacing to me adds more to the cinematics. There's camera angle shifts where we get more cinematic shots, as in comparison to other routes where we wouldn't usually get these. Another theme I see is friendship. I know that might sound kinda weird, but I do think it makes sense. Or at the very least, there's camaraderie, as we can't get through this area without Mamoswine, which we all should appreciate, as Mamoswine is pulling a Stevie Wonder head deep in the snow. With that being said, we can now move on to Snowbell City. Snowbell City, like Snowpoint, seems like a very chill city. However, I do believe Snowbell is a lot more aesthetic than Snowpoint. This is due to the liveliness of the city, mixed in with the different camera angles we get when we sit on the benches. There's even the photo spot located at the southern end of the city. His music to me feels very alive and welcoming. Snow isn't an obstacle, it's a part of everyone's lives here. The way I would put it is Snowbell is more like a winter festival, happy, friendly, and joyful. Snowpoint, on the other hand, is isolated, calm, and mysterious. A place unlike Snowbell that isn't very lively is Frost Cavern. Frost Cavern is another place in Gen 6 that can be seen through different lenses. We have the ice puzzles again. It is getting a little repetitive, but the ice trial is a bit different from back in the day. It's less of a trial for strength, but instead it makes you prove your worth to Abomasnow, who is at the end of the dungeon just getting haggled by Team Flare. After defeating them, Abomasnow gives you his Mega Stone, showing his gratitude for you saving him. The snow is symbolizing that helping out can be hard at times, but at the end of the day, it is always going to be worth it. Soon after we save Abomasnow, we go out and ride Mamoswine, which is our good deed being returned to us, as Mamoswine was worried about Abomasnow in the first place. Of course, since it's X and Y, there is the theme of cinematics. As for one, there are certain shots that make it look more aesthetic, but also it being less creepy than the other ice dungeons we go through. So for the most part, that wraps up Gen 6. So now that leaves us with Alola, which only has one ice area, Mount Lanakila. Snow here is rare, sacred, and even isolated. The first time we see Mount Lanakila, we get this really cinematic shot of the freaky professor telling us this area is the tallest mountain in all of Alola. He also tells us this is where the Pokemon League is being built. It is the pinnacle of Alola, literally and metaphorically. It being the only ice spot in contrast to Alola emphasizes how rare or extraordinary of a trainer you have to be to have gone here. The snow and the walk-up itself reinforces the idea of this being a pinnacle and hype building moment. The music reinforces this as it's really there to hype you up even further. With that being said, that finishes up these games, but there is still some snow left, and it is very interesting to see when the rest of the snow collides. Gen 8 and 9 have their respective snow areas with their own themes. When putting these teams against each other, it really highlights Snow's diversity. In Gen 8, we have Freezington. Like Snow Point, it's a small, community-driven town. It's very quiet here, showing how peaceful Snow can truly be. The theme reinforces this by showcasing its slow music box aesthetic. Chichester, another city in Sword and Shield, although might be a bit more bright, still has the same sort of slow theme. They both highlight there is more than meets the eye of a city, as there is rich history and a lore to do with these towns, regardless of how peaceful they are. Gen 9, however, is on the complete opposite side, really utilizing Snow to be a fun place to be. I don't know how it took them 9 generations in 20 years, but hey, we still made it. The towns, for one, are way more lively. For the Glaciado gym, I have no idea if I'm saying that right, we get to ski down the mountain, a fun activity I didn't think we would get in a Pokemon game. Montanerva Town, again, no idea if I'm saying that right, also has a gym that centers around double battles. The city of Montanerva is probably the most lively we've ever seen a snow town. While we do the gym challenge, there's an audience there, while Rhyme, the gym leader, he's straight freestyling while we're doing the double battles. The audience mixed in with the double battles are there to showcase the fun and community events you can have around the snow. The duality of Gens 8 and 9 really showcase how versatile Snow can be. These two gens plus every other one in the series really displays how much Snow has changed, from just being a creepy trial to sacredness to being a fun place for a vacation. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Let me know your own interpretations of Snow. Make sure to sub for more Pokemon content, and as always, I'll see y'all whenever I see y'all.